for you, because momentum needs to be reinvigorated every single week. Because a lot of times you go to an event, like you went to our event in February and or March, all that stuff, and then you go, oh shit, I went back to doing all the things I was not supposed to do. And so our goal is to keep you motivated, inspired, up to date. Anything changed lately, Brian? This NAR thing,
Just a few changes this year, right? Like just keeps
right?
on rolling.
So we got, we always try to bring the best of the best. And I'm really excited about our guest today because I was fortunate enough, I've known Brian for quite some time, an icon in our industry, just a good dude, but I got to know him at Mastermind this year. And it was such a treat. And, I've seen him, and it's amazing how many of the top performers try to not just kick butt and work, but they also do with their mental and physical minds. And you go to the gym and it's at these events, and it's not surprising that you see a lot of the top producers at the gym. There's Brian there and Josh Metal there, and you go down, Josh Pitts is there and all. It's always the same kind of people that are, hey, I'm going to wake up early, I'm going to kick butt, start my day on the right foot, and then crush the rest of my day. And Brian's one of those people. And we started talking, we're like, hey, we should talk about that, how to be fit to be at the top of your game and crush the competition. I mean, it's no different than being, a lot of you out there guaranteed are athletes. It tends to be that we're competitive nature. And a lot of our industry were athletes at some time, women or men. And now they're competitive in mortgage, trying to figure out how to be successful. And one of the ways, of course, is being fit mentally and physically. And Brian's a perfect example of that. So we thought we'd touch on those and relay how that crosses over to business. And it definitely does. I mean, looks modest in his black shirt, but his arms are bigger than my legs. The guy's just a beast. And you watch, Josh Metal, same thing. He's ripping it up in the gym. And Josh Pitt, these guys are studs. A lot of the top producers, Champanozian's, an athlete, you just go down the list. Everybody at some point is a competitive, athlete at some point. So we wanted to touch on that. So I want to make sure this is engaging. That's what makes it better for Brian and I, and better for you. Because if you just don't engage, you're going to find yourself drifting off. We know how it works. And you'll get back in your email and have us in the background and miss some good stuff. Plus, we want you to engage, meaning asking questions and reacting. So if you go to the bottom of your page there, you'll see a nice little heart, which is there you go. Those are your reactions. So give me a thumbs up if you found that. Come on, I want to see a bunch of thumbs up. Not just from Sonia. Sonia's good at this.
Yeah.
All right. So the idea is, if you like something or think something's funny, or great idea, give us a clap, give us a thumbs up, give us a heart. If you think it's funny, there's a laugh, emoji there, celebration or surprise, which is that one. Like, oh, didn't know that. But let's make this engaging. Let us know too in the chat where you're from. Good way to kind of start the ball rolling. And find out, because it's really cool when you see people from South Dakota or New Jersey or whatever. You're like, oh, good, they're on the call. Because we want you part of our community. Our goal with Momentum Builder has always been to be the #1 resource in the mortgage business for motivation, inspiration, tools, coaching, and so forth. And that's why I brought Brian on. So enough for the intro, Brian. Welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, likewise. I loved our conversation, and there is a through line. Everybody I've studied or been around that is successful, like the way I define success is not just business, not just at home, but like good people doing great work out in the world. They have this through line of somewhere they have a standard they've set for their mental and physical fitness, right? And everybody's is different. I always like, look, you don't have to do the things I do. You don't have to ride bikes like you do. You don't have to do that. But find your jam, find what works for you that gives you energy, and you get to actually become that best version of yourself. When you create it, you know this, Don, you can't avoid success. When you start doing these things and you create habits and rituals and routines, you will then start to see that bleed over into your business. You'll start attracting better people to work with you, like referral partners, right? That we want. And then you just have these commonalities and life becomes fun. That's what we want.
Exactly. I love that, Brian, because when we were talking, and I wish Gino was on, but it's his birthday today, so we gave him a pass, a hall pass today, the bum.
Another
But he
Leo.
loves this stuff too, because what he has realized, because if you didn't know, Gino at times, those on the car are going to go, "Oh, you're kidding me," and some go, "Yeah, I remember that." But Gino's been up to 300 plus pounds at times, and he's gone up and down between that. Now he's down, I don't know, 80 pounds, right
Wow.
now. And he realized that we all know what we should be doing, whether it's work or business or physical. We all know that we should be eating better or getting more sleep or working, making your calls to your database or, contacting your agents, learning new craft, learning new skills, reading the books, all that we know we should do. And give me a thumbs up if you know a lot of the things you should be doing, but don't do. And what it really is lacking is discipline. And that's what, like you working out the way you work out. And for me, if I didn't start going first thing in the morning, it wasn't when I was trying to go in the evening, our days get in the way. We get busy or we get tired. Now I know when I start in the morning, I can't miss it because nothing gets in the way. And it energizes me for the rest of the day because I'm like, got the workout done. And I know you think when you look at Brian, show me your arms, dude. Look at it. Look at my little arms. Look at those
Got
things.
little
Those are
baby
guns.
guns, little baby guns.
He's a stud. That happens by discipline. And it's not always fun working out, but I've never gone to the gym and worked out and went home and said, I wish I hadn't done that ever.
Amen.
I'm like, yeah, got that done. Woo, feel good, feel energized, feel pumped. So this call's not about that. It's about discipline. It's about figuring out ways to go to the next level. Because our goal is like this NAR settlement is an opportunity. A lot of you are like freaking out, but really it's the best opportunity we have seen. Wouldn't you agree, Brian?
Oh, 1000%. The conversations I've had since then, and what I would invite everybody to consider is there's a connection point for all of us that we want to talk to more agents. We want to have more conversations. And yes, we want to talk about the NAR settlement, how it's affecting agents, what they're doing, how do we prepare them to have better buyer consultations? How do we work with listing agents to prepare them? Like, how do we all work together? But you're missing sometimes the opportunity that's right in front of you of today, for example, there's 3 real estate agents that I do group fitness, right? Like kind of CrossFit, it's called Iron Tribe, all that. And I do that intentionally because I like to be around people. I like to work out around a community and have people there. And there's conversations that we have after the class. And I'm checking in. But our connection point is because we both have this interest, this commitment to our fitness. Then we can talk about the real issues at hand, and they have a respect for you because they know when you're there every day and you put in the work, you have earned the right to have this other conversation where many times I know early in my career, Don, I would jump in. I just wanted to get into the business conversation. Hey, this
Right.
is what changed. This is the program I have. I can solve your problem. And we often miss this relationship gap that's happening of if we have common interests and common values and we can portray those, then people will actually have a conversation with us.
Or
That's,
conversation versus selling them? What do you
oh,
mean?
what?
Anybody on this call, come on, give me a heads up. You're like, yeah, it's easy to show up and throw up because you want to sell how great you are. But if there's no connection, and that's one of the great things I've been learning from you, Brian, literally, it's made me change my philosophy on how I connect with others versus uh, not really connecting. Like you say you're following them, or you say you like them, or you say you appreciate what they do and how they do it, but do you actually follow them? Do you actually engage with them? Like you do a really good job, Brian. I've seen it before. I knew you before I really knew you because you're so good at connecting with others, meaning you will not just like my post, you comment on the post,
Yeah.
you give insights on the post, meaning you're giving value back. So you actually do a great job, Brian, of reconnecting with people and it's helped me. Like I work harder now to go on my Facebook, my Instagram, and so forth, and like and comment on my friends and partners' posts. And it
Well,
changes that dynamics. And you're really good at it, Brian. It made me not
it's,
just like so easy, comment on it.
yeah.
Tell
Well,
me
it is
what
a
you like about it.
strategy. I'll give you three things. I want to give you guys things you can actually go implement now. Like
All right,
today,
write this
when you
down,
get off the
everyone.
call.
All right,
I
give me a
love
thumbs up if
this.
you're ready to write this down.
The
Come on.
first one is you want to create a top 25 list. This is realtors, referral partners, financial planners, builders, maybe even past customers that send you a lot of referrals.
Mm-hmm.
Could be even other banks, credit unions. You get referrals from other lenders. They can't do certain programs, right? Like, you know who those are, top 25. The top 25 are going to be people you do business with today. And you also want to incorporate in that top 25 people that you'd like to do business with, right? You've seen them, maybe you've done a transaction with them, you'd love to work with them, but you just haven't cracked through yet. And that top 25 list is going to be a guide for you. And so what I do, Don, very strategically is that is the group that when I go online, I'm intentionally curating my feed to comment on their posts first. And I will give you a shortcut in the sense of time. What I realized is if I pick up this phone, I am a horrible typer. I mean, I'll be the first one to tell you, like, I kind of stumble, I typo, it's
I use
bad.
swipe just because of that.
And I get, you know, and it's just one of those, I realized this hack several years ago. And so where my business took off and I started to build better relationships was I realized in a conversation, if you and I are talking, it feels authentic, it feels real. When I typed stuff, it just felt very robotic. And so at the bottom of your phone, when you go into Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever it is, there's a little microphone button. What I do that saves me 75% of the time, I hit the microphone button, I speak my comment. So for example, Don, I go in your post. Don, I love that post. That really inspired me. Hey, it was great to see you out in Las Vegas. Can't wait to talk soon. How long did that take me to say that?
Faster than you could type, I guarantee it.
1000%. If anybody can type faster than I just said that and not have the typos, please let me know. This was a hack for me to go from about a minute to 2 minutes of screwing up the post, not getting the
Or
response. I'm
typing
like,
something wrong.
it just,
You're like, oops.
it wasn't conversational. And so what I noticed is when everybody's going this way and I go this way, and my thoughtful comment is going to stand out, and you're going to remember that and be like, when I call or I reach out for an appointment or a meeting, you're like, yeah, that Brian guy, well, he's thoughtful on my post. You want to reciprocate it. It's just the psychology. People want to reciprocate that. When you're kind, they're going to give you kindness back. And so, Don, this was the hack: is take the top 25, use that piece that's there so that you can actually get, I would tell you, I can get 20 to 30 different comments in less than 15 minutes. It's
Well, I
really
love too that it's not your sincerity and your demeanor and all these things of your care, or it comes through. It's really hard to do that. Like, not too many of us can type that well to add like character to a text. But your inflection, your voice, like today was Gino's birthday. Normally, because I'm learning from you, normally I just go, happy birthday, dude. And I'm thinking this in my head, happy birthday, dude. Hope you have a good, but I'm texting it. None of that comes through. So today I hit the room, dude. I'm so excited about your birthday. Thank you for being my partner and one of my best friends, and blah, blah. I can throw out, hey, how excited I am and how sincere I am versus a text.
so
So
good.
that,
What a
I
great
think that's a
example.
great hack. Really
Well,
good
and
hack.
we remember the people that send us the videos or something different, right? Different stands out. In today's market, you have to stand out. Realtors are getting bombarded. They're hearing about the NAR settlement. They're hearing about interest rates and all that. And if everybody's saying the same thing, you're going to get lost in that noise. And so I say, be different. And this last one, I'll give you the third tactic that works exceptionally well. When you do post a video, something that you put online, a lot of people miss out on this opportunity of when people comment, and I don't care if it's one comment or 100 people comment on your post, you have to respond to them. Imagine leaving a comment and then the person that posted that and you see the comment, they never respond to you. And so what I always say is my goal is to take online conversations offline, meaning when someone posts on there, there's an intention, there's a reason why they've looked at what I've posted, there's a reason why they commented. My goal is to get them either in the DMs to have, a conversation, because some people just want to text, they don't want a phone call. You need to be aware of that. And then my goal is then to move them into a conversation or meeting. So when I think about the sequence of the relationship, I'm always very strategic about why did they engage? Be curious. Hey, I noticed you left this comment, right? I'm in the DMs now. I noticed you left this comment on there. Is there anything else you wanted to ask or I can be helping you with? You know how many times, Don, I've literally had someone that either we're recruiting, we want to join our mortgage team, or a real estate agent, financial planners. I love them. They're fun to work with, just the way that I've kind of come up. And you move that conversation to the next stage. Then you move it offline where you can set up a 15-minute Zoom call. Then you move it to a face-to-face if you can, right? Like we need to be thinking about sequential conversations where we move them to build a relationship. Don't miss those. Those are 3, just very quick. You can go do them today. They're free.
And simple. Nicely done, Ryan. Come on, give us some input. All right, Troy. And Troy, he's one of our team members, and he's really good. Like he eats this stuff up. Like he goes a momentum builder and comes back and changes his whole career. And he's kind of reinventing himself right now, which is really exciting. I'm so stoked for you, Troy. He actually texted me at 10 o'clock last night, pumped about his transformation. Like he's like, I'm in a different mindset right now. I'm ready to absolutely kill it. And you can see it in his text, his demeanor and what he's doing, which is like, I believe you, versus I'm going to really try. I'm going to get out there and go. No, he's like, I'm freaking on fire. I got $1.2 million worth of deals just yesterday. You know, that's the way it's done. So let's see what Troy. Yeah, I also remember early social days with Gary V. Imagine a comment is someone talking to talking to you face to face. Would you just not respond if they're in front of you? Oh, that's a good point, Troy. I like that. Always reply every comment. And you do too, Brian. You're really good, even if you just like it. Like sometimes you'll like, I acknowledge that. Otherwise, you can keep going back and forth with chit chat that doesn't mean anything. So there's a point where you go, okay, we set our piece and I like it. Cool. Because you're acknowledging that I read it.
That's right.
Which is really good. Because, even on your birthday, you're really good about, replying back to people and saying, hey, like, thank you, that type of thing. What an easy thing I would imagine that if you spent 15 minutes to 30 minutes a day just doing that to the people like and trust and want to work with, if you did that every day through Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you'd kill it. I mean, how easy is that because people don't like making calls. I'm sorry, who does? Do you, Brian? Unless you strategically set it up. I love that you have a purpose. Like when you do talk to them,
correct.
Well, it's been set up. It's not a cold call now.
Most high performers want structure and they like routines. And I found like the more that I've had, time demands and I've realized what my time's worth is that you want structured time. And so when I allocate 15 minutes, like I want it to be 15 minutes, or if I allocate 30 minutes. And so my calendar really dictates what I do in the day. And so any call that comes in that's not one that's there and it's not a referral, right? Something coming in that you're going to call back. It's a disruption in your day, quite honestly. And so we need to think about modern day prospecting looks very different. And if you look at consumer behavior, I study that. My dad's a psychologist, so I nerd out on this stuff. And you just look at whatever demographic you want, age-wise, you started to realize that people have such convenience with technology, and we forget oftentimes is like our cell phones and smartphones haven't been around like 20 years, right? Like it's not this super old thing we've had forever, but it's also not new, meaning that for us, we need to figure out, does someone want to respond in text? Do we want to respond in social? And be aware of the cues of when can I move that conversation to the next stage? As I always say, online to offline. And if you're aware of that, you're respecting someone's time, they'll reciprocate that, right? Top producers, if you just called them out of the blue, that's typically why we actually lose a little bit of credibility, I believe. And so modern day prospecting looks like showing up on social, targeted approach. And look, guys, there have been people that I've done this for 90 days and never responded. But I will tell you this, there have been people I never thought would respond to me within 30 days, 60 days, booked an appointment with me. And I'm going, holy crap, they responded. You know what I mean? Like you just don't know unless you play the game. And most of your competition is not playing the game well. If you just execute on this, and then you continue to do your face-to-face, you're still nurturing, you're doing your local events, all the other stuff that we do, watch how you start to build this over time. You become the absolute go-to person in your market and even outside of your market, because social allows you now to broaden your geography. This is where the game is being played. I don't just get referrals in Nashville where I live. Now that I've built a social presence, I have referrals coming from all over the country because I'm on social. Like, don't miss this opportunity. Please, 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 if I can give you anything, is don't just dominate your local market. There's so much happening outside. If you play this game well and you do it with the right intentions of, I want to know if we're the right alignment to do business together. And I will never know that unless we have a conversation and hopefully meet.
Uh, that's well played, well played. And I love the fact that, like, right now we're all challenged with wanting to get more business. There's not one person here. Give me an O face if you're not looking for more business, right? Everybody is. I don't care how much you're doing, whether you're doing 2 or you're doing 22, you still want to do more business. Everyone wants to get more, and it's tough out there. So why not expand your horizons? I know we've had some people on our team that, because they expanded out into other states, because your company's probably like ours, we go in 49 states. So we literally can go anywhere, but you got to let them know you can. Because I just had one of my really close friends. Luckily, he hit me up. He's like, hey, can you help me out in Colorado? Absolutely. But I need to do a better job of making sure they know I can go to all states and assist them wherever they move. Because a lot of people, for example, we're in California, shit ton, that's an actual technical term, are moving out of California, just the way it is. So why not help them? We can
That's
help
right.
them locally to move away. They still want hands-on. So you're right there in California where I can help them. And I'll set you up in Nashville, unless I talk to Brian and go, hey, Brian, I'll help you out. But I'm just saying you can help them wherever, without a doubt.
That's right.
So I love that. I mean, what a great way to do it on, Facebook, and letting them know. It's an opportunity too to let them know what you do, because you think everybody knows. I hate that when all of a sudden I find out they bought a home and I'm like, dude, your high school friend didn't call you. You're like, what the hell? I didn't know you did loans. Or the worst, and be prepared for this one when rates go down. So you did their purchase. You would think and assume, and I've made this mistake 100 times, I'm sure you have too, Brian, where you think that they know you do refis. It's a loan's a loan. But they go and do a refi and they didn't call you. And then you find out because you see the mortgage trigger and you're like, hey, oh, I didn't know you did refis. What? They just don't know. They don't realize it's that, oh, I just thought you helped people get into homes. No, I can help you with all these other things. So if you're not reaching out, letting your clients know that right now, and most of us, some of you have, Brian does a good amount of business. Champagne, there's certain people that have hundreds that they just crush. There's a lot of us though, because the last 2 years have been slow. How many people do you really need to call to get back to all of your clients for the last 2 years? 20 to 100? Not that hard. Pick up the phone and do 5 a day, 10 a day. When you agree, hit them up
1,000%.
socially, friend them on Facebook, or
Yeah.
Instagram. I know Brian's really good at that. You actually have taught me to step up my game, because you do.
Well, here's what I tell you. There's a word like omnipresent. You want to be ubiquitous, and you hear these words, and all that really means is you need to show up where your ideal customers are going to show up and referral partners. And so I've been on LinkedIn the longest. I would still argue that LinkedIn is one of the most underutilized platforms. Even Gary Vee, as Troy was pointing out, Gary Vee says the same thing. And there's a lot now with the AI technology, and there's a program we use called Duck Soup. And not to get into all this technical stuff, but guys, I'll tell you, there's ways to automate some of our communication, and that allow us to expand out our communication. And so wherever you feel comfortable, like, our team, they post on TikTok for me. I don't go on TikTok, right? I kind of laugh when I get a message or something's there. Now
So you
I know
don't dance
people,
either, like
I know,
me,
but people crush it on TikTok. I know,
right?
I know people that they do really well. Good for them, right? I've realized where I crush it. And then also, I do love Facebook because I actually know the people, and you can curate that list. Always use the birthdays. When a birthday pops up and I don't know them, I wouldn't call them or I wouldn't message them. I go, is that really a friend I need in my 5,000? Maybe not, right? Because they can follow you. You have people that'll follow versus be a friend. Make sure that list is really curated for you, and use the tools as they're intended, and just keep up. Always says, I'm a constant learner. I'm always learning from other people. I'm always figuring out what's working. There's so many things out there. Don, you remember years ago, we paid so much money to have videos edited. Now that stuff is next to nothing, almost free to do videos. And you go, well, there's no excuse. Show
Yeah.
up.
I mean,
And
you use like Shred It, for example, Josh Pitt's thing. Literally, it's this
yes,
easy. You use Shred It and you can find the app. and
You use
literally
them.
blah, 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 blah. Here's what I'm thinking about doing. And you know what? And you go through and you hit submit, and it adds emojis, it adds captions, everything done within it. Like a day, you get it back and you're ready to the post, and it's professional because people read through it, they get hooked versus
Yeah.
just verbiage. They get hooked on reading the captions, and little emojis pop up or little pictures of what you're talking about. You didn't like, I didn't put that picture in, but
Oh, it's so
the
many
program
tools.
does.
Well, and think about this too, is like, Chat GPT's come out, and whether you use it or don't use it, there's different levels of that. But what I would tell you is there's a lot of posts. I have ideas and I'll leave a conference, right? So like momentum builder, or you're on this call even, you're going to write down 2 or 3 things that you're like, man, this is awesome. My challenge to you is some of you are going to be early adopters in this. You need to go share what you learned today with other people, because your referral partners, people that you want to connect with, they are not on this call. And so what I have done is I document things that I'm learning from other people, and then I go share them. And then now I've become this kind of curation of like, I learned this, and I'm just a constant student. And when you share that, people are like, holy cow, Brian, Don, like you're always giving us value. But the reality is, there's not really a thought that's new. Like, I don't come up with
Right.
ideas that go, man, nobody's ever thought of that one before. But what I do is I take that and I'll actually put it into Chat GPT, make it a little better. Hey, give me some stats. Is there any, stories with this? Are there any quotes that would go along with this? And I make my post better and more succinct, right? Like even last week at Renee's event, I'm talking to Renee about a new program that just came out for LinkedIn and for X, old Twitter. And it'll actually help you take all of your posts that you've used in the past, and then it'll help you write posts based on the topic. So guys, there are tools out there. If you're like me, I'm not the best writer. I practice, I'm working it better. This will help you be more consistent in your posts, but it's also authentic to you. It's not like some robot or some random copywriter. And these tools are the things that are going to help you differentiate yourself from your competition. And so, I went in today and there's like 20 suggested posts around leadership, strategic planning, the NAR settlement, mortgage industry. Like, and I just get to pick and go, yeah, I like this one. Okay, I'm going to change this. This will be more. I add my story in there, try to be a good storyteller, and then I share it and post it out. Like that's how content creation is done. That's like 5 minutes or less, done. Win the day.
I'm taking notes, by the way.
Good.
It's so funny that you mentioned that because it is huge. For example, like Josh Meadows got his boot camp coming up, 6-week boot camp that's going to walk you through the details of how to help your agents with not just understanding it. It's here's scripting, here's tools, here's how to add value, here's how to do masterminds, all that stuff. Like we're telling our team, like we're like going all in and paying for half of it to make sure they freaking do it because we think it's that value. Because if you're confident about what you do, you're going to shout from the rooftops, I got this, versus I don't really quite understand it. I don't know how to help you. I don't know, what's going on with that. You versus I'm your go-to. I'm the expert. And he's going to walk you through it. But we told him the same thing. They're like, well, it's 6 weeks. What the? I'm like, well, what's cool is he's giving you content for a mastermind with your agents every single week. You literally take what he gives you, and it's him and some other Lone Atlas crew, and you just take it and go, hey, I got my mastermind this week. This is what I learned this week from my industry leaders, and then you share. Next week, he's going to give you more content to go share with them so that your agents are prepared. Because right now, I know they aren't, because we're getting calls up the yin yang going, I don't know how to fill out this new contract, because they don't have a choice now. It started as of Saturday. So now they're like, oh, I'm confused with this contract. I don't know what to do. I'm panicking and all that. Versus I'm prepared. And if you don't understand, I understand. I'll help you.
Yeah.
Or here's some resources to help you with it so that you are confident, because you're going to have to earn your commission, especially for a buyer's agent. It isn't just added to the seller's, list price.
100%. So I'm gonna give you guys something that I learned. One of my mentors here, Rory Vaden, you guys might've seen him. He
I
spoke at a
love
lot of events,
Roy.
brand builders. Rory's, dear
Yeah.
friend,
He
and
was so good at forward.
wasn't he?
Yes.
So
I took 2
I was,
pages of notes.
so like I say, I was very, just happy to see other people get to see Rory's gifts, right? Because he's phenomenal. And
I
Rory
agree.
shared this concept with me and he shared it, I believe, at Forward. Don, remind me if he did. He said, people don't pay for information or ideas. They pay for the implementation and the execution of the information and ideas. So I don't want you to miss that. Like this NAR settlement's a great one. Agents are drowning in information about this. They're seeing the posts, they're hearing about it from everybody. What they are paying you for is the implementation and the organization of this information so that they can go take an action that's going to further their business and their success. If you can become that person, not just the regurgitation of, here's what the NAR settlement means, and we've got to have a buyer agreement. If you're just regurgitating bullet points and facts, you're not telling stories, you're not connecting, you're not helping them implement anything new strategically. You need to move into a place of when people say add value, adding value is the organization, the implementation of an idea or information. When you can do that, just like our call today, my intention is I'm giving you something you can leave the call with and go implement. I'm taking months or years of things it's taken me to go do this. Go do this. That's it. That's the implementation of an idea or me consuming information to say, you go take this action. That action will result in what you're desiring, which is more business, right?
Right.
Relationships, all those things. That is where we need to shift to in our industry. And you're going to see the professionals move that way, and the amateurs are going to continue to get left behind in our industry. I don't mean this harshly for some of you,
It's
because
a
if you're
fact.
playing as an amateur, you need to wake up today and realize our industry is so far behind in the professionalism in some areas that we all know we need to be leading in. And I give you some of that to say, if you haven't worked on your brand, if you haven't worked on your storytelling, if you haven't worked on your presentation skills, if you haven't worked on how you show up on social and engage with people, do it now before you get left behind. You start to see this gap widen, I believe. It's going to happen in real estate. It's going to happen in mortgage. It's already happened in financial services. They're a little bit ahead of us in this. And you're starting to see that where people have moved away from big firms and you're seeing these boutiques pop up. That's us. Can you be a boutique in your market and add such value and such creativity and all the things we've talked about today where you stand out and they can't help but call you and want to engage with you? When you become that person, you're attracting in business and you're starting to really build your business in the way you intended. You're not just hoping for people to call you and doing the transactional game. That is exhausting. I've been there. It is
Mm-hmm.
exhausting. And
yeah, I mean, you're just on the treadmill. You're just constantly in that little, like the hamster wheel, just going around and around and around, because you have to restart over every day versus you have a book of business and clients and relationships that feed you every single month. That way you're not starting over every single month from scratch. That's difficult. And when we train like our team, our goal is to take them out of this. I'm producing, I'm managing, I'm producing, I'm processing, I'm producing, versus there are ebbs and flows as the business comes and goes, but it should be slowly going up, not the big ups and downs. And that's frustrating because I know any of our team members that are doing that, they hate it because they're like, I can't go produce because I'm buried in the weeds. And then I'm producing. Then, you got to create this baseline. I want to go back to something you mentioned because I want everybody to understand something that Brian brought up, because it's really important. Is you talk about being the expert and sharing, like actually, and it's really important because people are regurgitating a lot right now and they're copying other people or saying what they're saying and all that. Doesn't add value. When you actually organize, implement, and execute and help others do that, you will get better because there's no choice. If you're going to become that expert, you're going to be better versus just regurgitating. And if somebody asks you, well, how do I imply that? Or how do I make that happen? Or how do I do that? And that you can't answer it, you're of no value, really. But if you really become an expert, everybody will gravitate to you, especially right now. Everybody's freaked out over this NAR thing. And we've already gone through it with Dodd-Frank and, going from good faith to LEs. We've gone through it. We know how to dodge this bullet and it helped us, actually, those of us who understood how to show our value and what the LE is and what our true value is, we killed it. The other guys went away. Those who don't go, and I'm telling you, 74%, the stat, Barry shared it, a couple others, Barrett, Tom Ferry shared it with Dave Savage, about 74% of all real estate professionals in the nation did not do one transaction. Not one.
Mhm.
So I've even been telling with some of my people that, because they're like, I got 50 agents. Are they any good? Sorry, a lot of those aren't, they haven't gravitated to follow the changes in the industry. And that happens. I've seen top producers in our valley when it went to short sales and never adjusted. And they died. They went from being number one to literally out of the business. And then people we didn't know dove in and learned how to handle the new market and crushed it. And this is our opportunity right now to do the same. It's a
1000%.
huge opportunity.
And I'll give you guys something you can implement today. Again, I'm an action
I love
taker.
this. You got like you
There's
come loaded,
Yeah, I just
prepared.
come bringing gifts, right? And I just share with you
Yeah.
things that I've had to learn the hard way that I think would help you. And it's what, I coach and share with people is questions over statements. Questions over statements, meaning the next customer you talk to, the next real estate agent that you're talking about, NAR, we tend to lead with statements, right? We tend to lead with, hey, here's what we're doing to help with this. Here's what we're doing around that. I have this new program. And we lead with a statement, right? It could be even rates have changed. This is what's happened. What if we started being curious and asked a question to the agent? Hey, how has this affected you? Week one, what's different in your world? What do you wish you knew more about? What are some changes you'd like to see? How do you see your lender helping you, right? Like there's questions. You guys, you can come up with 100 of them or more. Questions over statements. Professionals versus amateurs. Professionals will ask the questions. And Phil Jones talks about this all the time is you can't diagnose or actually give someone the actual kind of help that they need until you've asked the question. It's almost like you walk into the doctor, they don't ask you any questions, they look at you, and then they prescribe something. Never happens. Not the way it
Right.
works. We
If you
need to
did,
ask
run.
questions. So the next time, catch yourself. I have to do this to myself all the time. I was on a phone call before this and I had to pause. I'm like, I want to tell them a statement.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to ask them a question. And that question then opened up. Actually, it was a different issue that we were helping one of our branch managers solve for. And it wasn't what they started with, it really was something underlying. And had I gone with the original, I actually wouldn't have helped them at all. And they would have shown up tomorrow. And I don't know what you, how many times have you had that before? You go to your manager, you go to your coach, or you say something, and somebody just tells you, well, you need to go do this. And deep down, you're like, don't want to really tell them the truth. I want to open up more. Like, I mean, they're telling me all this stuff. Like, maybe that's what I need to do. Become great at asking great questions. And there was a book, The Question Behind the Question. Anybody's read that? You want to ask the questions behind the questions. Once you go 3 or 4 questions deep, you're going to really start to feel the emotion shift. And when you find a little bit of that pain or discomfort, or where they're like, hey, here's what's really going on. I'm really worried about this, or I'm concerned about that. There's typically an underlying fear or uncertainty that then we can come alongside and then we solve something together. And that's the collaboration that I believe creates a partnership, not just a transactional kind of partner.
Wow. All right. I want some thumbs up on that. Are you guys paying attention? I'm waking you all up, making sure you're there. I see you, Phil and Troy, and let's go. Come on, Razak. Thanks for being on the call, Mike. Good for you, buddy. Um, let's see. Come on, Lloyd, John, Joe, Tishkoff on the call. Nice, nice, Brian. Daniela, I want to see some thumbs up. Come on, my team. Because that's good stuff. It's really, really good. And thank you, Brian, for not just showing up and throwing up, because you have a gift of gab, no problem. Seeing you. You're a wonderful speaker. You always have something to talk about, but you worked hard to make sure that we had some intangibles to take away, which is something that I know at Momentum Builder that makes us unique versus, and I'm tooting our own horn, but we make sure that all our speakers go up are giving strategic thought process and strategies that are working in today's market. Because we're realizing, and you recruit too, we're realizing as we recruit that there's this false sense of value from a lot of our industry based on 20 through 22, because they were killing it and they did a really good job and made a lot of money, and they had this false sense that I'm a badass. You were then, which was great. What are you doing now? Because this is a completely different market. That's why we went, you see the sign here, reboot. It's 900-degree freaking difference than it was when we were doing the best job we could to get back to our clients as fast as we could and get them their refis and be in front of them and all that. And you can provide a great experience, but now it's completely different. I mean, this market is changed, and a lot of you that are willing to listen to Brian and take notes like I am and apply some of these concepts and help your partners, because they need us more than ever. This is the best part. Best part of NAR is they actually really need us. They know it. They're scared to death. They need a partner to help them solidify how to pay for their commissions, for one. You know, Josh goes through it. Dave's gone through it. We have programs because we use total cost analysis and mortgage coach to where we can show them, okay, here's 4 options to help you get paid. This is, raise the sell price. Here it is, basically less down payment. Here it is where the seller goes ahead and pays. Here's where you pay. And here, if if it's valuable enough for you to pay for my service to find you the right thing, and figuring out how and why, because the best thing I've heard, you're probably like this, I'll give this to you if you haven't heard it, but I love what Tom said about this opportunity right now. Tom Ferry, who's one of the biggest he's the godfather. He's like our Todd Duncan. Him and his dad are the godfathers of training for the real estate industry. And one thing he said is to help solidify your pay is to document your results. Meaning, they're like, I don't know if I'm going to pay you 2% or 2.5%. Well, I've gone through my last 100 transactions. I've been able to save my buyers 8.5% by negotiating a better deal or getting things included in the transaction. And that's not including these other 50 things that I do for you, handling the inspections, doing this, what happens about this. I don't know, but bottom line is, because I'm representing you and I'm negotiating on your behalf based on the property that you fell in love with, because each one's unique. It's not just about comps. It's what's this compared to the other comps. If I save you 8.5%, is that not worth 2.5? Document it. Just document it. Kind of backs you up. You're like, well, then, I mean, it's pretty hard not to pay somebody when they say, I'm going to save you. It's like my tax guy. He went back, he goes, if I went back to your taxes, perfect analogy, you'll understand it this way. One of my CPAs went back and he goes, hey, can I go look at your past 3 years in taxes? And if I can go back and adjust things legally, because a lot of CPAs go through a freaking system, they plug in the numbers like you can do, with a freaking online system. They do the same thing. Trust me. If I can go there and find some holes that they missed, and I can save you money and get you a refund, were you willing to give me a third of it? You can take a half. I don't care, because that was money lost. Does not matter. And you're like, why would I pay my CPA $4,000? Because I made 8. Okay. It was gone. So it's the same thing. If you can help, your agents and your clients understand your value, that's huge for them, because they're really going to be challenged. And a lot of people are going to go out of business because of it.
Document. And for everybody here on the mortgage side, is document your results, the people that you've helped. We always talk about these rescue loans, and I know a lot of us do. And another lender kind of screws it up, and you come in, document what you've done, document your process, and that's really your proof, right? And you should be sharing those. A lot of times we're hesitant. We don't want to share what we've done, but when you make your customer or your agent the hero of that story, and you're like, this agent came in and here's what they had, we were able to work together, and then we came up with this outcome. We've done this for 100 families, right? And you just go through what you've actually done, real results, and then how you've helped people. Right now, look, we may think there's not a refinance market. There is absolutely a refinance market. Like, I'm talking to someone this morning, and the amount of credit card debt and auto loan debt and all that, and I started in that consumer finance world, so I nerd out on that stuff as well. Like, hey, well, if we take your debts and we kind of consolidate it and we can get you the right payment, get you on a budget, we're actually going to save you money, right? We need to be thinking about.
You may be saving their house too. And just throwing that there, because we just did one. And the reason I say this is important because people don't understand how to utilize the equity in their home or the finances stuff. What they do think is, I'm tired of being buried in debt, because maybe they got trapped, they're, lost a job, it happens, got laid off, whatever, strikes, whatever it is. And they're like, only way we're going to get out of this is sell our home. What if, because they don't want to get rid, they're worried about that 3%. I have a 3% loan. I don't want a 7%. We just did one where he did, Don T's on it. He helped me. Don T give me a thumbs up. So we restructured for a friend and a client of mine, and they were thinking, well, maybe if there's Don. We thought they were going to have to sell, and we restructured it and got rid of all of their debt, which is stress, huge stress for the
Big time.
marriage, and got rid of it all and saved them $2,000 a month. Do they care about 7%? It's $2,000 a month, and they keep their home because they just gained, I guarantee, twice as much equity in the last 5 years than they expected, because we helped them get into the home 5 years ago. So
Yeah.
they were hoping, I guarantee, in 5 years we have $100,000 in equity, will be stoked, and they have 250,000. So we used 80,000 of it, and they get to keep their home and no debt, happy as can be.
What a
Woohoo! Good job,
restart.
Don T.
You probably save a relationship, you save the stress, you save their mental and physical like anguish in that, right? I mean, think about how much they're going through. And I've been there, right? Where you just got like, you're swimming in credit card debt and you're like, I don't know how I'm getting out of this. And
I'm talking about
that
2008.
that is how we save people going through this now. And I'm telling you guys on the call, like this is out there today for you. And this is why I believe you have to show up. You have to speak to what problems are existing out there. And if you're drowning in credit card debt, feel like you don't have any options of keeping your house, reach out to me. Right. Like, and we don't even think about that stuff. We think, well,
Right.
people will call us if they want to refi. No, they won't. No, like majority
They
of them
may
will
be
not.
embarrassed.
They're not. Exactly. And Don, I love that you bring that up, because that's a kind of a conviction for me, is like, I've been there, and we all know we've helped that person before. And when you've been able to help that person and you've been that person, I really believe it's a calling on you now and a responsibility. You need to go help other people because you found a way out of it. Help other people in that situation. Don't let them drown in that. It's relationships and families and stress, like the amount of mental, we know, illness out there and things that we can do. Money is one of the roots of all divorces and mental health issues and just depression. Like, guys, when you start to look at your business that way, this is the emotion of Brian, like the psychologist side of like, start to look at people and the opportunity differently. And you will start to see people that you can serve, whether you do alone, you don't do alone, you're going to be able to help people. And I've often found when you just start serving and helping people, you're going to look up and go, I just got like 2 referrals. I got another 1 million in the pipeline, and like good things happen to good people. Right. And I believe that. And so when you show up that way,
All
you're
right,
going to
so
be in
I'm
a
going
good
to ask
spot.
the 20 people. I want thumbs up, because the best thing I've learned in this call, Brian, and I learn every time. I love, we're blessed because we get to get on the calls with people like you and Dave's and Todd's and, Habib's and all these great, pros. I go down the list of them, and you hear these pros, but the most beautiful part, and I'm hoping all of you really paid attention, because I know we get distracted. I know you're checking your emails. I know you're checking your phone, but I hope you paid attention, because this can help all of us. It's helping me. Is if you watch how Brian talks, there's no sales at all. It's authenticity, it's sincerity to serve. Plain and simple. Do any of you question that? I guarantee there's no way you can question that Ryan is sincere, that he wants to help other people. So if you talk the same way when you're responding to people, you're doing your posts, you're doing your videos and all that, you talk that way, people can't question your authenticity and sincerity to help them, and it will change your career. I mean, I watch you, I don't question. You're sincere, like, I want to help people. I need to help people. That's the other thing too, right? As I feel that if you don't reach out to people, you're doing a disservice. If you don't reach out and offer your service to help them or solve a problem or listen to them, ask questions, find out what is important to them, then you're doing them a disservice. So get out there and frickin' help serve and help more people. It's a win-win for everybody.
Well, one of my mentors used to always say, when you're feeling down, and we always are,
Not in this
fastest
industry. We don't get beat up.
fastest way. Yeah, like let's be real. Like we know, like
Is
in
Razak
a
still in
day,
this thing?
you can be on the highest of highs and you can just get knocked down. The underwriter calls you and goes, hey, I came up with different income here. Hey, we got this issue. And you're like, or the realtor calls you and goes, hey, this is going sideways. Like all these things happen. By the way, many of them outside of your control, right? Like just call it what it is. But what I found, and this mentor shared me all the time, is Brian, the quickest way, and I want you to remember this, is when you go serve someone, and you reach out with no intention other than, hey, what can I be doing to help you? Hey, Don, how's your day going? Is there anything going on, that I could help with? When you shift into a service heart and service mindset, and I've seen this because when I was self-centered, I kept seeing the snowball of things got worse and worse and worse. Like it was like, oh, woe is me, and oh, I got all these problems. Guess what?
Right?
Everybody's got problems.
Yeah.
You need to
And
figure out
everyone's
how
got
to solve
challenges.
them. Yeah, right.
I mean,
And
and this industry is the toughest. I've seen it in 37 years. I'll give you guys all a get out of jail free card. We're almost towards the end, but I'll help a lot of you because as a regional manager, I talk to a lot of my team and a lot of loan officers. Momentum builder, we talk to a lot of people. It's challenging out there, and everybody is losing deals because of whatever reason. Borrowers are fickle. Borrowers are not, loyal. Property issues. They feel they're overpaying for the home, overpaying for the interest. Well, I can go on and on and on. It's challenging and you get beat up, and it's demoralizing when you lose a deal, especially 11th hour. And I talked to two of my top producers, yesterday, and they're like, it kicked me in the teeth, because I was in 11th hour. We're about to do docs and they decided to do something stupid, or go with someone else because of whatever reason. And it's demoralizing, but I love the shift of, all right, it's going to happen. Just know it's gonna happen at times, but go out and serve someone else. And my deal was always, I'll go get two deals to replace the one. That was my goal, and
oh,
that
I
gave
love
me a
that.
different focus. So great stuff. Anybody have any last minute questions for Brian before we close out? Anyone? You can type them in here. Yeah, give us a thumbs up and clap and hearts and show Brian.
Oh,
I mean, I have no joke. I know you guys think, but I have a whole page of notes. I'm a note taker. I just suck this stuff up like crazy. Look at that. All the love. Thank you, Brian, for taking time and being prepared. How cool was that? That you saw that Brian was prepared to give you some nuggets to help you. Because what does Brian do? He serves. Heaven forbid. What a you walk the walk, Brian. And that's why I love having you on the show. And I know we're gonna get you on again. I know we can do some really fun stuff with Get Fit to be ready to, we're going to play that game and help people with that. Here's some things that help you mentally and physically. I know Brian and I want to get into that and share that with all of you, because I know when Gino and I, for example, we're not bragging because we've lost weight and gotten better shape, but our mindset's so much stronger, so much
oh yeah.
better because we are. I mean, Gino's a different person, with losing all that weight and taking care of himself. And those Gino go, yeah, the dude's freaking on fire because he's strong minded, he's taking care of himself, and he's a different person than when he was fat, plain and simple.
Well, and Don, I'll tell you this. I shared this. Ben Newman, I was on his podcast. He's one of my coaches. And no matter where you are, I came into the year thinking I was a certain amount of physically fit. And compared to most, I would probably put myself in a good category, right? But I wasn't where I wanted to be. And some of you are listening to the call today, and you're not where you're supposed to be. There's this gap that exists. And I wrote down this Jim Rohn quote as we were preparing for the call. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. So discipline, and you mentioned that earlier, is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. I had to raise my standard and put a challenge out there because a lot of us, you mentioned athletes, we need a competition, a challenge, something we're going to pursue. If I can leave you with anything, go pursue the best version of yourself. Take something we shared with you, go pursue it, go implement it now. Success favors those that implement quickly. Do it today. Start incorporating it in. And you heard, Jim Rohn, love his quotes, but discipline favors the people that actually put the work in. They don't always favor the most talented. So you can beat people with more talent. You win the discipline game.
Man, 100%. Beautiful stuff. Thank you, Brian. Follow Brian, and he'll actually respond. I know he will, because I go back and forth with him all the time. He walks the walk. And that's why I was so excited to bring you on, because there's a lot of people out there that self-love. You do not. You walk the walk. You're a giver. We love our givers with Momentum Builder, and we thank you. And we love some of you guys, all of you, to be part of our community. Why would you do this all by yourself? Why wouldn't you get tips and tricks and inspiration and motivation from people like Brian? So here's our upcoming sessions. And then join our community. We have an app, really cool app with a lot of great information on it, past shows, coaches, tools. It's a really great resource called Momentum Builder. And then join our Facebook page, our LinkedIn, and our Instagram. Great stuff. We're actually giving away prizes. We're bribing you to be part of it and engage, because we know it'll help you. And we want you to share it. Get more people involved. The more people we have, the more ideas you have, the more, it's our tribe. We believe our tribe is going to defeat the competition, because together we're better. We're stronger together. And so we want you all part of it. We want you engaging in it. And we have such exciting stuff coming up in Momentum. But we just spent an entire day yesterday with a lot of our leaders that are helping us with Momentum Builder to take Momentum Builder to the next level. And it's very exciting. So you want to be part of it, because we're dedicated to serving you. Right, Brian?
Well said. Love it.
All right,
You're doing great
everyone. Thank you
things.
for being part of our call. Woo! Stay connected. Brian, you're a stud. I appreciate you. And someday I want your arms, and I'm working on it, but I'm getting lean for motocross right now. It's a little different.
One day at a time, my friend. You're
Yeah,
on
it's
the
a
right
different
track.
thing. Everybody's like, well, you're getting lean. I have to. We got to be really lean. Motocrossers, it's all endurance. So, all right, everyone, have a great week. Thank you, Sonia, for helping out as always. Be sure you tune in next week. We got one of the best, Taylor Stork, talking about, believe it or not, it's NAR, but he's in the trenches. He's a perfect person to listen to. And then one of the #1 Cutco salespeople in the world